Rock on there.
Stink, sir? Lord, sir, you'll get used to that.
I do not wish to get used to it. Where's the captain of this vessel?
Captain Anderson can do nothing about the stink, sir. It's sand and gravel, you see. The new ship has iron ballast, but she's 50 years old, sir. Well, mind your head now, sir.
Curious warship, Wheeler.
Warship, sir? It's a passenger ship, a mail coach, a storeroom, a farm. We have to have something to eat for the next 6 months. It is only a warship if we should meet the Frenchie.
Will she make it to Australia?
She'll float till she sinks, Mr. Talbot. I'll fetch you a brandy, sir.
I am on board the ship at last. I must confess that things are not as I had expected. Why an ancient ship of the line such as this one has been transformed into a passenger conveyance is only to be explained by the straits the Admiralty are in, with more than 600 warships in commission. But your lordship is well aware of the ways of the Admiralty. How else would you have secured my passage or the position that awaits me in the governor's office on arrival at Sydney? You, my honored godfather, have set my foot on the ladder, and however high I climb, for I must warn your lordship that my ambition is boundless, I shall never forget whose kindly hand first helped me upwards.
On the cot, Lily. And be careful.
You've asked me to use my time aboard the ship wisely, and to conceal nothing in this journal, and to report back on the activities of some of my fellow passengers. I've yet to encounter Mr. Prettyman, the radical, but suppose that he is somewhere aboard.
We've cast off, sir. The next dry land will be Australia.
Perhaps I could have a word with the captain about a more spacious cabin.
You take my advice, sir. You'll stay here a while.
Forgive me, Wheeler, I'm not feeling quite the thing.
Nothing to be ashamed of, sir. Even the late Lord Nelson suffered famously from the mal de mer.
Help you sleep, sir.
Wheeler? Wheeler?
Can I fetch you another draft of the paregoric, sir? I believe you found it to be very settling.
It did its job most efficiently. What are its properties?
Opium, sir.
What are you doing, Wheeler?
It is but learning to ride a ship, sir.
Good day, sir. I said good day to you, sir.
Lieutenant Gloverson! Who the devil is this? Have you not read my standing orders?
My name is Edmund Talbot, Captain. I carry letters from my godfather.
I have much regard for his lordship. I trust that you are comfortable, Mr.
Talbot. What is our position, Captain?
We are still in the channel, Mr. Talbot. And as such, the rule is that passengers come to the quarterdeck by invitation only. Though, in your case, I would hope to see more of you.
We are now in finer weather, sir.
What the devil is this now?
Ah, Captain Anderson, may I take this opportunity
No. Passengers come to the quarterdeck by invitation. I'm not accustomed to these interruptions in my walk, sir. Go forward, if you please. Keep to the leeward.
Lured, sir? Please convey my sincere apologies.
Do you wish to subvert all my officers, sir?
There is some mistake.
Are you aware of the powers of a captain on his own ship? You are a nuisance, sir. Put aboard without a note to me. I'm shown more courtesy over a bale or a cake.
My sincere apologies, Captain.
I did you the credit to suppose you could read.
Read, Captain Anderson. Of course I can read.
There are my orders. My standing orders. A paper prominently displayed near your quarters and those of the other passengers. Read it.
My attention was not drawn to such a paper, sir.
My Christ! Am I to be outfaced on my own deck again and again by every ignorant nonsense? Am I, sir? Tell me! Read my orders! And when you have read them, get them by heart. I will treat you like a schoolboy if I choose, sir. Or have you flogged if I choose, sir? Or have you clapped in irons if I choose, sir? Or have you flogged by the gratings if I choose, sir?
whole ship must have hurt him.
Parsons, you see, Mr. Talbot, don't commonly have them in the Navy, sir. Not enough of them to go round.
But law requires one aboard every ship of the line, does it not?
Captain Anderson would wish to avoid it.
Oh, come, Wheeler. Are not seamen notoriously superstitious? Do you not require the occasional invocation of mumbo-jumbo?
Captain Anderson does not, sir. Nor did the great Captain Cook, I believe. He was a notable atheist and would as soon have taken the plague into his ship as a parson.
Good God.
Mr. Collier's a passenger, nothing more.
Come.
Mr. Summers' compliments to Mr. Talbot. And Mr. Talbot take a glass of wine with him in the passenger saloon.
Mr. Summers?
The first lieutenant, sir.
He's second in charge to the captain, is he not? Tell Mr. Summers I'd be happy to wait on him in 10 minutes' time.
The young lady who admitted the music may entertain her party in that way.
Mr. Talbot.
Do you find your accommodation commodious, Mr. Pike?
Mr. Talbot, Lieutenant Summers. How are you finding the motion?
Well, my servant tells me I must learn to ride the ship.
I see you are managing. Lieutenant Deverell, Mr. Talbot.
Mr. Summers, would you mind just clarifying something for us? Excuse me, gentlemen.
Mr. Edmund Talbot, I believe.
Yes, indeed.
Who hunts with the Shropshire Fieldings.
Very same.
I'm delighted to make your acquaintance there. Bates, a drink for Mr. Talbot.
Thank you, sir.
Your health.
And yours.
No, secured between two trees in my grandfather's garden.
Why am I asking? Your, scar. Was it delivered by a French sword?
A Frenchie did try to split my skull, sir, but my head proved harder than his steel. Mr. Talbot, Have you met Miss Grannon?
I don't believe I have.
But surely games are not altered in themselves by the nature of the place in which they are played.
I'm very happy to hear you say so. I've seen cards played in queer places, I can tell you.
I would expect some knowledge of whist as necessary to a young lady. Always provided she has the wit to lose, prettily.
There are many hours of innocent enjoyment to be afforded by the cards.
Miss Grannon, may I introduce Mr. Talbot?
I hope, ma'am, that at some time during our long voyage I should have the benefit of your instruction.
Instruction? Mr. Talbot? How clever of you to have discovered that I am a governess.
Yours is the most necessary and genteel profession open to a lady. I am willing to bet you are as secure in the affection of your young ladies and gentlemen as old Dobby, Miss Dobson, remains in mine.
A lady who is the daughter of a late canon of Exeter Cathedral, and who is obliged by her circumstances to take up the offer of employment among a family in the Antipodes, may well set the affectionate friendship of young ladies and gentlemen at a lower value than you do.
This is excellent meat.
What takes you to Australia, Mr. Talbot?
A position in the governor's office, sir.
A politician at our table. Then we may all sleep soundly.
Mr. Pretterman, is it not?
Indeed it is, sir. Have we been introduced before?
No, I don't believe we have, but of course it is a belated pleasure. Do you think we should
Miss,
experience any action on this voyage, Mr. Devil?
Pray that we don't, sir. This is hardly a proper ship of the line with a crew that know each other.
We've not sailed together before?
The crew is small in numbers and swept together in a day or so. You bet the officers, Mr. Talbot. I shouldn't wish to rely on Cumbersham for hand-to-hand battle with the Frenchy. As for the captain,
I've met the captain.
he spends more time with his plants than his commanding officers.
Indeed.
And to make matters worse, this war is running down like an unwound clock.
Zenobia, my dear child.
How is your poor mother? A shadow of herself, Mom.
Will you join us, miss? I'll find you a cushion.
My cushion is free.
Miss Granham, you cannot leave me here alone among so many gentlemen.
Yes, Miss Grant. Must you leave so soon?
Rest assured, Ma'am, your virtue is as safe here as anywhere on the vessel.
Dear Miss Granham, I'm sure your virtue is safe anywhere.
Allow me, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Oldmeadow. A true gentleman.
I saw yourself. You threw salt over your shoulders. Superstition is the religion of the feeble mind. I would have you know, Mr. Brocklebank, I am the inveterate foe of every superstition.
Angry,
Also
Mr.
afraid of
Pretterman.
meeting that portion of cow.
I declare that when roused, he is quite terrifying.
The custom of touching wood comes from the papistical habit of adoring the crucifix and kissing it.
Mr. Bones, we are indebted to you, sir. My nurse had a horror of a loaf being turned upside down. Apparently, it presaged a disaster at sea.
Alone. Alone. All alone. Alone on a wide
thee, ancient mariner, from the fiends that plague thee thus. Why look'st thou so? With my crossbow I shot the albatross.
Mr. Brocklebank painted Mr. Coleridge's portrait.
Albatross, more superstition.
Would you dare risk shooting such a bird?
Do you have a gun, sir?
I have been advised, as I intend to travel in the country, to take a gun.
Bring me your gun, sir.
I will bring
and
you
I will
my gun,
shoot
sir.
an albatross, and we shall see what fate befalls this ship.
And where is the parson? The cabin walls are so thin, every morning I hear him in prayer.
The parson keeps his cabin. Ah, the Reverend Colley. He's a newly hatched parson that had to be smuggled aboard. We shall see little of him, I think. Thank God and the captain for that.
Is it true that Captain Anderson has refused the parson to hold a Sunday service?
Did you not witness the altercation between them? Our captain threw him to the floor.
This is why we are denied a Sunday service.
My wife would like a service on the Sabbath. If.
Well, I should think it might be possible for the parson to hold a short service for those who wish to attend, might it not? Then it's decided.
The Reverend Robert James Colley, at your service, Mr. Talbot, sir.
Service is the word, sir. Mr. Colley, when is the Sabbath?
In 2 days' time, sir.
A few ladies and gentlemen would welcome it if you were to conduct a short service in the passenger saloon at 7 bells at the afternoon watch.
Mr. Talbot, sir, this is... It is like you.
But the brooding captain will not dictate to me in this manner. Is he to tell me whether I should have a service to attend or not?
Why, no, sir.
I have regrettably little to report to your lordship. We have ventured at last into the tropics. Mr. Pretterman is still trying to shoot his albatross. The other passengers keep themselves to themselves. Mrs. Brocklebank has recovered from her sickness. To everyone's surprise, she certainly does not look old enough to be Zenobia's mother. I had known the world of art is not to be judged by the accepted standards of morality, but would prefer Mr. Brocklebank to set up his brothel elsewhere. Added to the heat and the humidity, a sea voyage, I am learning, can have an effect on the male constitution. To meet the lady is easy enough and, indeed, unavoidable. The problem, devil take it, is a place of assignation. You will ask what is wrong with my hutch, or indeed hers, and I will answer everything. Does Mr. Colley cry but hum on the other side of the lobby as he wakes Miss Granham in the hutch just aft him? Does that windbag Mr. Brocklebank but break wind, and our timbers shudder clear through my hutch and into Mr. Prettyman's just across from me? Clearly, I must prospect farther for a place suitable to the conduct of our amours.
Wheeler? Sir?
I would like to look around our ship, if I may.
You'll need a guide.
Make way for Mr. Talbot.
What the devil is this?
Gentleman Jack! Always one for a joke, Mr. Deverell. He put Willis up to it.
Mr. Darrell told me that was the only way to get up.
It's a creeper, see?
Most amusing.
You'll take an observation through glass, Mr. Talbot?
Yeah, it's very close in here, gentlemen. I wonder you can endure it day after day.
It's a hard life, Mr. Talbot. Here today, gone tomorrow.
Here today, gone today, if you mind that young fellow Hawthorne.
More donkey than boy is a fucking idiot.
Last man on the rope, young Hawthorne. Bosun says, whatever in this natural world, don't let go. The brace begins to take charge of the yard. Hawthorne holds on like he's being told.
What's wrong? What happened?
The end of the rope runs up to the block, just like that. Hawthorne's on the end of it. We never saw him again.
Good God.
Here today, gone today.
So stuffy down here.
Remember them girls, Mr. Gibbs?
So it is possible to obtain commerce even on a vessel such as this? No one see you?
Aye, father.
Not much goes unseen, Mr. Talbot. As you may know already. Mr. Willis will show you. Go on. And pretend you're the captain, doing his rounds. And if you're very lucky, you might get to see the purser.
Remember that gunner? Lost his head. Oh, I've got the funny cans.
Was there anything else you wish to see, Mr. Talbot?
That was all.
Trust we shall be seeing you at the ceremony, Mr. Talbot.
Ceremony?
This afternoon we cross the line. As we cross the equator, King Neptune comes to visit the ship.
Yes, I have heard of this barbaric ritual. Mr. Summers? It's a ritual. Custom, I should say. Does the whole ship attend?
Nobody is excluded, sir.
But it is entertaining?
If you like your entertainment noisy.
It has come to me in a flash. If I cannot alter the place, then all that is left to alter is the time. The ship is about to provide me not with a place, but with an opportunity.
I hear there is to be entertainment, Mr. Talbot. And we are all to be included.
Not quite all of us, Mr. Pike.
Oh.
Wretched heat has given me a headache. I shall pass the time in my cabin.
Robert James Colley! Come out, Robert James Colley! You are coming to judgment!
No, I'm not ready.
No! No! Please! Gentlemen, unhand me! Please! No! Please, gentlemen! God save me!
This is Neptune's dominion, Parson! Pay homage! filthy fellow who must be cleansed!
Come on now.
No, you go. Edmund! The French!
Calm yourself. This is Mr. Prettyman, who was at last seen in Albatross. Now, my dear, we must get you back to the social scene. Never do for us to appear together.
Edmund!
Why, what is the matter?
You will not desert me.
Come, what can I do? Step overboard into a ship of my own?
Cruel!
Do not pretend these are circumstances with which you are wholly unfamiliar. Unless you're waiting for,
For what?
for a suitable moment to retire to your hutch cabin, I mean to say, and repair your toilet. We have very little time.
If there should be unhappy circumstances.
Yeah, we must cross that bridge when you come to it. Now, coast is clear. Yes, go, go.
Edmund! Edmund!
Talbot, my dear fellow. Bates? A glass for Mr. Talbot. Thank you, sir.
What a sight it was! What famous sport!
Indeed, sir. Famous sport. Bates, another glass for Mr. Devil.
Oh, your kindness itself, Talbot.
The whole thing went too far in my mind.
I agree, Mr. Perkins.
Yeah, but diverting nonetheless.
And was it not diverting for you, Mr. Talbot?
Can I get you anything, sir?
No, thank you, Wheeler. That'll be all.
I thought I could smell perfume, sir.
I don't think you did, Wheeler.
Good night, sir.
Good night, Wheeler.
shot your albatross, Mr. Pratt? I did not, sir. I did not. Weapon was snatched from my hands. Oh, episode was grotesque and lamentable.
Such a display of savage superstition.
No doubt. No doubt. Such a thing would never happen in France. Parson.
Captain Anderson, I desire to speak with you.
Well, sir, you may do so.
Your people have done my office wrong. You yourself have done it wrong.
I know it, Mr. Colley.
You confess as much, sir.
It was never meant... The affair got out of hand. You have been ill-used, sir.
After this confession of your fault, I forgive you freely. But there were, I believe, other officers involved. They were, I suppose, acting not so much under your orders, but by force of your example. I believe I know them, sir, disguised as they were. Not for my sake, but for their own. They must admit their fault.
Christ. You will have it all, then, will you, sir?
I defend my master's office as you would the king's. Then there are the poor, ignorant people in the front end of the ship. I must visit them and bring them to repentance.
Are you mad?
Indeed, no, sir.
Mr. Colley, have you no care what further mockery may be inflicted upon you?
You have your uniform, Captain Anderson, and I have mine. Have I your permission, then, to go forward and address them?
Do as you please.
Mr. Summers, I believe it was you who discharged Mr. Prettyman's weapon.
It was, sir.
I trust no one was injured.
I fired over the side.
I must thank you for it.
It was nothing, sir.
Lord, whom winds and waves obey, guide us through the watery way.
I beg you, allow me to take charge, sir.
You must not interfere with the ways of the church, Mr. Summers.
Men are in drink, sir.
See, they are punished for it.
Something had happened during the ship's entertainment while I was so closely engaged with the delicious enemy. I have no doubt that the people subjected the passing collie to some slight, real or imagined, and it could have been a great deal worse had it not been for the timely intervention of Mr. Summers. What the devil's going on?
Sir, I must see the first lieutenant, sir. It's the parson, sir. Mr. Colley's in the forecastle, drunk as butcher's boots.
Get below, sir, or I'll masthead you.
They are laughing at us, sir.
Sir? Sir?
Inform the parson he must return to his cabin at once.
Mr. Willis! Inform the parson that he must return to his cabin at once.
This is the 51st day of our voyage. I think. And then again, perhaps it is not. I have lost interest in the calendar and almost in the voyage, too. I have felt a lethargy. There's been little to do but walk the deck and drink with anyone who will. I have little to amuse your lordship at present. I have avoided Miss Brocklebank, who glows in this heat so as to almost turn a man's stomach. I'm sure the devil has had to do with her. I fear that a man might well suffer shipwreck on that coast. What is of some interest, however, is the behavior, or lack of it, of the parson collie. The fact is that since the fellow's fall, he has not left his cabin. 4 days have now passed since his drunkenness. Come.
What is it, Wheeler? Lieutenant Summers was inquiring if you had called on Mr. Colley.
No intention of calling on Mr. Colley. It's the thing furthest from my mind.
Lieutenant Summers believes a visit from you would send a message to the rest of the ship, seeing as no other passenger carries your authority.
Is the parson unwell?
Hard to say, sir. You can still make out that the gentleman is breathing.
Very well, Wheeler. I shall pay a visit to Mr. Colley, but I do not wish to be offended by the sights and smells of a sick room.
Of course not, sir. Good God! I've done my best, sir.
Mr. Colley? Mr. Colley, it is I, Edmund Talbot.
No one blames you for what happened, sir. Life has not been made easy for you, but this is not the way to behave. This is not good enough, Mr. Colley. I have called upon you, sir. I desire further acquaintance with you. Well, sir, when you're in a better humor, pray call on me.
Mr. Talbot.
Mr. Summers, I have discharged those responsibilities you were so kind to bring to my attention. With little success, I have to report. The man made a beast of himself, and now I am weary of the subject.
I have entered the cabin and seen for myself.
I shall marvel if you can eat after it. The stink alone.
Mr. Talbot, we have no physician on board, and I believe the parson is mortally sick.
The man is young and suffering from no more than an overindulgence in liquor.
Is that all, Mr. Talbot? Are you as indifferent to the man's fate as others are?
I am not an officer on this ship.
The more able to help, sir. I may speak to you freely, may I not? Well then, how has the man been treated?
First, he was the object of one man's specific dislike. Then the object of general indifference leading to contempt. Even before his latest escapade.
What I say now may well ruin me if I have misjudged your character.
My character? You have been studying my character, sir.
We know your birth, your prospective position. Men and women will flatter you in the hope. God. Wait, understand me, Mr. Talbot. I do not complain. You have exercised your privileged position. Now, I'm asking you to shoulder its responsibility. Who is responsible for the Parsons state?
Devil take it, man, himself. Very well, so let's not mince around the truth like a pair of church spinsters. You are going to spread the responsibility, are you not? You will include the captain, and I agree. Who else? Deverell, yourself, the starboard watch, the world?
You, sir, are the man most responsible.
What?
My career is now in far more danger than from the French. They, after all, could do no more than kill or maim me.
How mean, how vindictive you think I am. Precious career is safe. Now explain your words.
You ignored the captain's orders and ventured upon the quarterdeck. You made good use of your rank to strike a blow at the very foundations of a captain of his own ship. Because of your rank, your prospects, your connections, you got away with it. The parson, sir, could not be so fortunate.
If Collie had read the captain's standing...
You are a passenger, as he is. Did you read them? Had you not acted as you did, with the arrogance of your class, then Mr. Collie would not have assumed the liberty of himself venturing upon the quarterdeck. The captain humiliated the parson, sir, because he could not humiliate you.
I've said enough.
I hope so. A man does not want to die of shame because he got drunk. Best medicine for Mr. Collie would be a visit from the captain. And there is only one man amongst us with sufficient influence to bring the captain to such an action.
A fine evening for you, Mr. Talbot.
Indeed it is, sir. Do we make as much progress as is common in these latitudes?
I doubt we shall achieve more than an average of a knot over the next day or two.
24 sea miles a day.
Just so, sir.
I must confess to finding these latitudes agreeable. Could we but tow the British Isles to this part of the world, how many of our social problems would be solved? Mango would fall into our mouths.
You're a quaint notion there, sir. Do you mean to include Ireland?
No, sir. I would give her to the United States of America.
It would remove half a watch of my crew at a blow.
Well worth the loss, sir. Balmy the air is. It's almost insupportable that I must descend again and busy myself with my writing.
Ah, a writer. We have a writer on board.
Partly an amusement, partly a duty. What my godfather would call a journal. Or a log, if you prefer.
You must find little to record in such a situation as this.
Indeed, you are mistaken, sir. I find I have neither time nor paper sufficient to record all the interesting events and my observations on them.
It's my godfather's intention that this voyage should allow his godson time for reflection and exercise for his powers of judgment.
This journal will be evidence that his hopes have been fulfilled.
The journal is for your godfather.
It is my present to him, to distract him from his gout. I'm instructed to hide nothing.
The officers of this ship must bulk large in your account, sir.
They and the language they use. And some of the personages. Mr. Pretterman and his outspoken views. All will amuse his lordship.
And myself?
You, sir? I'd not considered that. Well, you are, after all, the king or emperor of our floating society.
I had not looked to become famous, Mr. Talbot.
And with prerogatives of justice and mercy, yes, I suppose you do bulk large in my journal. I shall continue to do so. God, man!
My apologies, Mr. Talbot, but it cannot continue.
Collie.
I am to look in on him again by the captain's orders, and you are to assist me.
I?
You're not ordered to assist, but Captain Anderson feels that the parson will listen to your invaluable advice.
Very well. Let us try once again to rouse Mr. Colley from his lethargy.
Mr. Talbot has come to see you, Mr. Colley.
Well, Mr. Colley, this is an unfortunate business. But you are refining too much on it. Uncontrolled drunkenness and its consequences are an experience every man ought to go through at least once in his life. Or else how is he to understand the behavior of others? I have been brought to see how I am, in however distant a way, partly responsible for your predicament. Had I not enraged the captain as I did, then doctor.
I don't have a doctor. Mr. Brocklebank.
Wheeler!
Brocklebank. He was at medical school before he was a painter. Wheeler! Wheeler!
Sir.
Wake Mr. Brocklebank at once.
I believe the gentleman is still in the passenger saloon.
Then fetch him, man. And Wheeler, notify the captain. Mr. Brocklebank, we require your medical knowledge.
Good evening, Parson.
Well?
Well, what?
Is he dead?
The man is not dead. He is asleep. He is in a low fever.
There's no such thing as a low fever.
Well, to the best of our knowledge, sir, Mr. Colley is dead.
Nonsense. Stiff drink will rouse him.
I fear the man's intemperance has destroyed him.
Intemperance, sir? A single unlucky indulgence. And you will enter it so in the log, I presume.
That is something for me to consider in my own time, Mr. Talbot.
A moment's unlucky indulgence.
I heard mention of a low fever, did I not?
That is my opinion, Captain.
Mr. Brocklebank is not quite himself, sir.
Nevertheless, he's the only man aboard with any medical knowledge, is he not?
A moment ago, he pronounced the man asleep.
Mr. Summers! Make the customary arrangements. Mr. Willis! Bring off the sailmaker and his mate. 3 or 4 able-bodied men.
Ladies and gentlemen, you will not wish to witness what follows. May I request that the cabins be cleared? The air of the quarterdeck is to be recommended.
What happened to the parson?
He was made drunk, as you know.
I mean before, at the crossing of the line.
You did not witness the ceremony?
He was otherwise occupied. For what did he receive the captain's apology?
A low fever, gentlemen, is the opposite to a high fever. I bid you good night.
There is a young gentleman on board whom I trust and pray will become my friend as the voyage advances. He's a member of the aristocracy, with all the consideration and nobility of bearing that such birth implies. I have made so bold as to salute him on a number of occasions, and he has responded graciously. His example may do much among the other passengers, who have an indefinable indifference to me. I have furthered my acquaintance with Mr. Talbot. It was he, of all people, who did in fact search me out. He is a true friend to religion. He came to my cabin and begged me in the most open and friendly manner to favor the ship's people with a short address. This is a godless vessel. What a man does defiles him, not what is done by others. My shame, though it burn, has been inflicted upon me. I must visit the poor, ignorant people in the front end of the ship. I shall go forward and rebuke these unruly but truly lovable children of our Maker.
What is it we got?
The captain has requested your presence in his stateroom, sir.
Why?
There is to be an inquiry, sir, into the death of Mr. Colley.
Come in. Ah, Mr. Talbot, come in, come in. I must apologize to you for not meeting you at the threshold. You've caught me in my garden.
I did not realize you had a private paradise, Captain.
Indeed, yes. This geranium, you see, Mr. Talbot, has some disease of the leaf. And I've dusted it with the flowers of sulfur, but to no effect. I shall lose it, no doubt. But then, sir, he who gardens at sea must accustom himself to loss. On my first voyage in command, I lost my whole collection.
Through the violence of the enemy, sir?
No, sir. No, sir. Through the uncommon nature of the weather, which held us for weeks without either wind or rain. I could not have served water to my plants. There would have been mutiny. Still, the loss of one plant is no great matter.
Besides, you may exchange it for another at Sydney Cove.
We are a long way and a long time from our destination, Mr. Talbot. So we get on with the matter in hand.
Mr. Colley agreed to a taste of rum. He said it was in the spirit of something.
Reconciliation?
I think that was the word he used, sir.
What were you doing forward?
The cable to the bow anchor was to be rousted out and walked end to end. Having finished my inspection, I was coming to report. But stayed a while, having never seen a parson in that state before.
And then?
I proceeded after to inform Lieutenant Summers, but had been given a bottle by Mr. Cumbersham.
Thank you very much, Mr. Willis. That is all.
Thomas, what has the bottle got?
The bottle is rebuked, sir. Let us get on. The laughter and applause we heard, Mr. East.
Was when the Reverend Colley exchanged words with the seaman.
After he'd been drinking.
He was more sociable after the rum. I didn't see him again, not after the seaman took him down amongst the ropes. I was with my wife. She had suffered a miscarriage.
Thank you, Mr. East.
Surely the men most likely to enlighten us on how much Colley had drunk would be the fellows who brought him back on deck.
I've ordered them to attend. However, my informant advises me that this next witness we should press.
Informant? Informant on what?
We are here to establish the cause of Mr. Colley's death, sir. Or had you forgotten the agenda?
I had not, Captain, but I believe we are doing what you gentlemen call making heavy weather of it. The Parson Colley was made drunk, which isn't exactly a crime. Can we not confess that his intemperance killed him, but rather our general indifference to his welfare was likely enough the cause of it?
Difference? Intemperance, sir. One moment, Summers. Mr. Talbot, I pass over your odd phrase, our general indifference. But do you really think a single bout of drinking is enough?
But you said as much yourself.
That was yesterday. It is likely enough that the parson, helplessly drunk, suffered a criminal assault by one or God knows how many men.
Good God.
I will have no concealment, sir. Nor will I tolerate any frivolous accusations which touch me, myself, in my conduct of the ship, or in my attitude to the passengers in her.
I have made a submission, sir. I beg your pardon if you find it beyond my line of duty.
Very well, Mr. Summers. Let us get on.
Surely no man will confess to such a...
You are young, Mr. Talbot. You cannot guess what channels of information there are in a ship such as this.
Channels? Informants?
Mr. Summers tells me you claim some skill in cross-examination.
Did he? Did I?
Your witness, sir.
Now, my good man, your name, if you please.
Billy Rogers, my lord. Foretop man.
We want some information from you, Rogers. We want to know in precise detail what happened when the gentleman came among you the other day.
What gentleman, my lord?
The parson, the Reverend Colley, the gentleman who is now dead.
He had a drop too much, my lord. Was overcome like.
Then he was not assaulted?
Assaulted, my lord.
With your permission, my lord, Mr. Colley suffered an outrage in the forecastle. Who did it? Would it surprise you to know that you yourself are suspected of this particular kind of assault?
I know nothing, Captain, sir. Nothing at all.
Come, Rogers, you were seen with the parson. What did you sailors do to him?
What did we do, man?
Buggery, Rogers. Buggery!
If you are innocent, then you may help us by bringing the criminals to book. At the very least, you can provide us with a list of those you suspect capable of this particular form of beastliness.
We want names.
Aye, aye, sir. Shall I begin with the officers, sir?
Very well, Rogers. You may return to your duties. Agreed. Any other witnesses?
I believe no, sir.
And there, Mr. Summers, ends our investigation. Sherry, anyone? Hawkins!
But we still do not know what happened.
Sherry, for myself and Mr. Talbot, Hawkins. Mr. Summers, I believe you must oversee the various arrangements for the unfortunate man's committal to the deep.
Yes, Captain.
A low fever it is, then. You'll be willing to countersign a report?
I have no official standing in this ship.
Come now, Mr. Talbot. Rogers has it in his power to ruin all of us, if he be so brazen as I doubt not he is. All of us. Witnesses, inquiries, accusations, lies, yet more lies. Courts-martial. Such accusations cannot be disproved. Whatever the upshot, something would stick. Buggery is a hanging matter, sir. The parson died of a low fever. I ask you once again, you will be willing to countersign a report?
I will make a statement, and I will sign that.
Thank you. Your health, sir.
You mentioned informants, Captain Anderson.
Did I? No, I think not.
You asked Lieutenant Summers.
Who replied there were none, sir, yes? Not a man jack among them. Do you understand? And no one has come sneaking to me. You can go now, Hawkins. Servants have ears, Mr. Talbot.
Oh, yes, of course. I'm very sure my fellow Wheeler has.
Wheeler? Oh, yes, indeed. Fellow must have eyes and ears all over him.
Well, then, until the sad ceremony, I shall return to my journal.
Ah, the journal. Do not forget to include, sir, that whatever may be said of the passengers, as far as the people and my officers are concerned, this is a happy ship. I'm sure your godfather would want to know that.
It seems to me then, it still seems so, that I was and am consumed by a great love of all things. The sea, the ship, the sky, the gentleman and the people, and of course, our Redeemer above all. Here, at last, is the happiest outcome of all my distress and difficulty.
Caps company! Off caps! Fire still!
I did not realize that Collie was so tall.
It's the cannonball, sir. Two of them strung to his feet.
Man that is born of woman hath but a short time to live and is full of misery. He cometh up and is cut down like a flower. He fleeth as it were a shadow and never continueth in one stay. In the midst of life we are in death. Of whom may we seek for succor but of thee, O Lord, who for our sins are justly displeased. We therefore commit his body to the deep, to be turned into corruption, looking for the resurrection of the body, when the sea shall give up her dead, and the life of the world to come, through our Lord Jesus Christ. Fire! Fire! You know?
I should be a rich man now had not the warmth of my constitution, an attachment more than usually firm to the sex, and the opportunities for excess forced on my nature by the shocking corruption of English society.
You don't know the corruption of society.
Indeed, sir. I looked around, but I said to
How
myself...
dear Talbot. Hey, you've been interrogating our good crew.
At the captain's request, Devil.
Old Rumbleguts. I tell you this, the moment we reach Sydney Cove, I shall resign my commission, call the captain out and shoot him dead.
You, sir, or the drink?
You look as though you could use a drop yourself, my good man. Bates, a glass for Mr. Talbot.
Did you know I was the first in the field after the death of Lord Nelson with a lithograph portraying the happy occasion?
I've seen it. I have seen it. There is a copy on the wall of the Dog and Gun. Although, I've always wondered how the devil did the whole crowd of young officers contrive to be kneeling around Lord Nelson in attitudes of sorrow and devotion at the hottest moment of the action.
You are confusing art with actuality, sir.
Was that not the scene you observed?
Imagine. Lord Nelson died down below in some stinking part of the bilges, with nothing to see him but a ship's lantern. Well, who the devil's going to paint a picture of that?
Rembrandt, perhaps?
Ah, madam.
What did you do to him, Devil? You refer to the parson, Collie.
You were amongst the crew when he was made drunk. When he was assaulted.
Made drunk, perhaps. But there was no assault.
Well, wish me to call it by another word, then I shall. Buggery.
Were it not for the continued popularity of that work,
I don't recall the parson objecting to it, damn thing, sir. In fact, from where I was standing, he seemed to be somewhat enjoying himself.
medical training has led me to the correct
You lie.
diagnosis of a low fever.
Do I, Talbot?
Was not perceived at the time.
Perhaps you don't know the man as well as you may
was
think.
Indeed, very similar to death. A fine, upstanding man of the cloth.
A truly degraded man.
Lieutenant Deverell.
Mr. Colley.
Come on. Demortuous and all that. Single unlucky indulgence is harmless enough.
Harmless? The priest harmless?
I was not referring to drink, but to vice in another form.
Come on, the parson had no vices.
You doubt a lady's word, sir.
No, of course not.
Let it be, dear Mr. Prettyman.
Mr. Talbot has chosen to doubt your word, ma'am, and I will have an apology.
You have it, ma'am, unreservedly.
Well, we learnt of his vicious habits accidentally. It was two sailors with sending one of the rope ladders made us aware. Miss Granham and I were... It was dark. We were sheltering in that confusion of ropes at the foot of the ladder. We were discussing how true liberty must lead to true equality. Anyway, the sailors were unaware of our presence, so without meaning to, we heard all.
Smoking is bad enough, but at least gentlemen go no further.
My dear Miss Granham,
It is as savage a custom as is known amongst coloured peoples.
Jove, Ma. Can't mean that gentlemen chew tobacco.
You shall have the facts, sir, as they were spoken. Natural aptitude has made me an expert in the recollection of casual speech. One of the sailors said to the other as they descended the ladder, Billy Rogers was laughing like a bilge pump as he came out of the captain's cabin. He went into the heads, and I sat beside him. And Billy said he's known most things in his life, but he'd never thought to get a chew off a parson.
No, I fail to see what's so amusing.
The father of the son
Get up! There are ladies present! Disgraceful!
I think I finally understand what happened to the pitiable, clownish Mr. Colley. It was he, not Rogers, not Deverell, who committed the fellatio that the poor fool was to die of when he remembered it. And so, your lordship, in the not too ample volume of man's knowledge of man, let this sentence be inserted. Men can die of shame.
Wheeler?
Where is Wheeler?
He cannot be traced, sir. We think he may have gone overboard.
Good God. Captain mentioned informants. You don't
They're
think...
searching the ship now. Phillips will serve you in the meantime. Shall I fetch him for you?
Perhaps you can give this to the captain. Done as he asked.
The captain will be reassured.
What a man does defiles him, not what is done by others.
Sir?
It is a phrase from Mr. Colley's journal.
The matter is closed, is it not?
Not entirely. For my part, I must write a letter to Mr. Colley's sister. I shall describe my growing friendship with her brother. I shall describe my admiration for him. Count all the days of his low fever and my grief at his death. be lies from beginning to end.
And then?
Australia. It is the last page of your journal, my lord, and I have turned back over the pages ruefully enough. Wit, acute observation, entertainment. Why, it has become perhaps some kind of sea story. But a sea story with as yet never a tempest, no shipwreck, no sinking, no rescue, no sight nor sound of an enemy, no thundering broadsides, heroism, prizes, gallant defenses, or heroic attacks. But there is still a long way to go.
Bring her onto the wind, Mr. Gumberson.
Here, 1 point, large.